Hey everyone, we're in here again, back this time with a guide for flawlessly soloing Crota's End as a Warlock. Really quickly, here's my suggested build you want to be running. We use Stormcaller for the majority of this run. I have on Storm Grenade, Focused Burst, Superconductor, Amplitude, Arcane Force, Pulse Wave, Chaos Order, and Electrostatic Mind, because we need all the agility we can get for the first half, which will quickly become apparent. We use Sunsinger very briefly near the end of this run, mostly for Fusion Grenade, Viking Funeral, and Touch of Flame, just as a sort of handy backup plan in case things don't go the way we want them to. I spec for armor, but other than that, you can really use whatever you like on this subclass. In terms of weapons, I recommend a good scout rifle, solar sniper rifle, full auto shotgun, and as necessities we'll need Sleeper Simulant and Dragon's Breath. And this time, in addition, you'll also require Mida Multi-Tool. Regarding armor, you can really use whatever you like. I'm just using Impossible Machines. Other than that, what you wear as a Warlock really comes down to your personal preferences, because nothing will really help or detriment you in terms of exotic armor. With that out of the way, we can jump right in. And just really quickly, I just have to say thanks for all the support my last guide got. I really didn't expect that amount of support, and I didn't think it would even get a fraction of the views it got. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's a great supplement to this guide, and this one's a little bit less in-depth, so if you need to know a lot more of the ins and outs of flawlessly soloing, I'd watch that first. Going for a flawless solo as a Warlock is a lot more difficult than it would be going for a flawless as a Hunter, simply because Hunters can control if they go invisible or not. They have a lot more added control options, but for Warlocks you really have to rely on RNG and luck. With a little bit of, if we have good luck, then we'll be able to get through this with not too much trouble. If you don't know already, Weight of Darkness has a sort of tempo or a cadence to how it's applied. It goes in a simple rhythm of about once every 1.5 or 2 seconds. It adds one or removes one from the total counter. So if you have a metronome or if you have a good memory, you can figure that out on your own. You can sort of keep track of know when it's going to go up by one or down by one. It's really not too bad, but we'll need it to be at 0 like as we start jumping on this next jump here if we're gonna do this pretty consistently. And I just threw down my grenade there for Pulse Wave. If there's a boomer, if there's a Exploder Thrall, he can always blow up on you, and that can usually bring you down to Pulse Wave levels, but if that doesn't happen, you can always just throw down your Storm Grenade and it'll bring you down to Pulse Wave levels on top of that rock. But that just skipped about 90% of this maze in the stills here, so we'll just hang out at this this lamp here and bring our Weight of Darkness back down. And we don't have to worry about Thrall at all for the rest of this. They're all spawns are stuck way behind us now at this point. So we can just run past this knight, hug this right side of this rock to skip that hole right there. Go left to skip this next hole. Hang out this next lamp for a second. Bring us back down to 0. And we're going to be going through these rocks here just to get to the very last lamp as opposed to going for the second to last lamp. So as you can see, very quick, very easy. Well, I make it look easy, but it's actually, I fail on that more times than I'd like to admit. But if you can master that jump, you can get through this in maybe less than a minute, it seems like. And you get to enjoy the view of all the lamps still intact down there while you wait for the door to open. After that one jump, there's one more slightly difficult jump that we'll have to deal with afterwards, but other than those two jumps, everything after that is pretty much smooth sailing. So if you can master that jump and this next jump here coming up, you can pretty reliably get up to the point where you can practice on your Ute and Crota. Just realized I need a little bit of ammo. Wasn't nearly as much as I would have liked. You can stock up on ammo at this point if you really like to. You really have to be aware if you take... It's pretty strange, but after... it seems like a minute or so, minute and a half, this door opens and an ogre comes out. Which really makes no sense because I've stayed here for a good 15 minutes and he only comes out on that side once. Never on the left side. And he comes out way too late for him to actually be able to do anything. A little bit odd. I would expect special to drop sometime. Now here he is. It really makes no sense to come out this late because we would have already cleared the section if we really wanted to. There we go. Basically, the one thing we have to know here is if you're a Warlock main, if you know the peak of your jump a little bit before that, if you know exactly where that is, you'll be golden jumping up and going across to the other side. It's a little bit difficult, but from a running point, peak's about there, and then you start to float down. That's not good. I don't want you down this way. So again, we're just going to fly over to this parapet. There's our peak. Keeper, I might actually not be able to kill him this time. Ooh, that was very close. But now, from now on, it's pretty much smooth sailing, so... Really quickly, I'll hide. I'll max out my armor a little bit. And we will switch to Sleeper Simulant. Sleeper Simulant recently got a bit of a nerf. I think it was made to not ricochet off of certain hard objects. Unfortunately, Shriekers used to be one shot with them, now they require 2 shots. It still penetrates them, deals a bit of damage, but it now takes a second shot to kill them. It's not too big of an issue. Just requires an additional couple of shots. A little bit more time, but I'm speaking ahead of myself. Right now we're just worrying about the acolytes coming out from underneath these doors, and the wizard, and then the ogre. Wizard's coming out right now. Won't let her smoke me though. There she is. Oops, probably should have reloaded beforehand. Flush her out, oh, of course. Ah, that's a bit of a shame. I thought I would have had more special ammo. It's alright. As you saw in my other video, Sleeper Simulant works just as well. We might have to just pop a synth though, unfortunately. Swap to the other side. Ogres sure are taking their time. Don't try that at home. I was too greedy. I was lucky having Transcendence on. But yeah, it's not a good idea to jump into wizards and a bunch of knights. And that's that. Yeah, again, I can't stress that enough. don't do what I did. Again, just pop this Shrieker with just primary shots. Head out. Now, it's a little bit tricky. We kind of have to clear a way for ourselves so we can take out that Shrieker. It'll open up for us, but... and repeat. Now we get the real fun part of just mowing through the thrall. Hopefully you get a lot of good ammo drops from this. I just pretty much maxed out my sleeper ammo right there. So like I was saying before, Sleeper got a little bit of a nerf. It still can kill closed Shriekers, but it just takes a second follow-up shot. Whoops, that was a little bit of a bad jump there, but it doesn't matter too much. Now we'll just go and build up our super for Iryut. One of the other reasons, if you don't have it on already, I'd put on Landfall, just for a little bit of blindingness when you pop next to Iryut. You don't want knights shooting you or cleaving you. Again, these guys aren't your main target, but you can take them out as long as you're down here. Build up your super a little bit. And we're just kind of waiting out until the liturgy starts. See these guys. Pretty good at hiding. This time around, we're not going to be using sleeper shots on Iryut because it's just too hectic with being shot at by all the acolytes and a couple knights standing around there. So we'll just be popping our super on her. As long as you're, close enough in here, you don't have to worry too much about running out of time. Let's see where she is. There she is. And we'll just zap her to death. And from this point, we'll just move back to our tower. And we will slap on Dragon's Breath and our full auto shotgun, and we'll also swap to Sunsinger. And it doesn't make sense to have Apostle Machines on any longer. Now we just kind of start clearing out. It's really boring, it's very tedious. I'll probably go ahead and skip ahead right now. I'll probably put for those watching on YouTube, I'll probably put a little annotation to skip ahead once I clear out these guys. Because it's literally just 3 minutes or so of just killing ads. Acolytes are there's a ton of them, but you don't have to worry too much about them. They don't do a lot of damage to you at this 335 light level. Be sure not to step on the plate as you pass through this room. You'll start up the Crota encounter, and there's still a lot more to do. As a side note, if you are running Sunsinger at this point, you don't want to have Fireborn on because it makes sense, but a lot of people don't realize that dying at this point and resurrecting still counts as your death. And that might be all of them. Just do another quick little lap all the way around, see if anything pops up on your radar. Saw heavy down here. There it is. It seemed like everyone. Let's go back over this way really quickly. Alright, that was everyone. So basically our Crota strategy is exactly the same as our hunters, except for we don't have the benefit of being able to go invisible. It's not too much of an issue, but you just have to be a little bit more careful in making sure that Crota does not go ahead and just slam you when you're jumping up. Left side is clear. Now we'll just clear out the right side. And we'll check right side. No one escaped outside, so we're good to go. Whoops, that's not the right weapon. There we are. And we're halfway done already. I don't think there was any heavy drops in here, but we've got more than enough. So take a quick breather. Keep an eye out for sword bearer. I don't think he's out yet. Could have missed him though. Nope, there he is. So let's take a mental note which side he goes to. Left this time, and I can keep an eye on Crota. That was not what I wanted. So unfortunately, we'll have to kill ogres really quick. As you can see, sometimes, you know, Crota is just a little bit wonky. I think he stepped out of the fire at the last second. Probably had a small sliver of shield left. So we're gonna just wait for ogres to come out, kind of taunt them a little bit, get them moving faster. Oops, probably should reload your weapons too. As you can see, if you have Starfire Protocol, you can always run that as the two fusion grenades brings down Crota back to back. But, you know, there's no real reason. I can just show off that it can be done with no exotic. Well, I suppose I have Claws of Ahamkara, but it's not really too impactful. So we're just waiting for him to move back. Hopefully he plays nice this time. And that does it. So as you can see, Flawless Warlock is still easily doable. It takes a lot more luck in the first part, but yeah, that was solo Flawless Warlock. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and do what you do, I suppose. That pretty much does it for me. All that leaves now is solo Flawless Titan. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Hope to see you again soon.